This is Democracy Now! I'm Amy Goodman. With just about 40 days until the presidential election, Georgia's state election board voted 3-2 to approve a controversial new rule that will require counties to hand count the ballots cast election night, which could delay the reporting of results in the key battleground state, and that means for the nation. The proposal was spearheaded by the board's pro-Trump majority, will require the hand count in addition to the customary machine count in each of Georgia's precincts. Trump praised the electoral board members last month as pit bulls fighting for honesty, transparency, and victory. For more, we're joined by two guests. We're going to start with Sarah Tyndall Gazelle, a member of the Georgia State Election Board who opposed the measure. She's also an election law attorney. Welcome to Democracy Now! I know you just have a minute. Can you explain how this vote took place and what it means?
Certainly. We received a petition from a member of the public who is a well-known election denier a few months ago that would require the counties to hand count the ballots. Now, this is not a tabulation. This is simply counting the number of ballots that were scanned on the day of the election. We had another one that would have applied to early voting. That one, fortunately, did not pass. Rather than using the normal rulemaking procedures of working together, having the board draft the rules, this was one of dozens of petitions that came from election deniers, and they're motivated by people who believe the 2020 election was stolen. Now, mind you, there are multiple cross-checks on the number of ballots that got scanned through. There's a counter on the tabulator. The tabulator tapes have the number of ballots cast. The number of voters who checked in are already going to be cross-checked with the number of ballots printed and the ballots scanned. But this adds at really the 11th hour another layer of confusion, because the counties have already hired all their poll workers. They've trained their poll workers, and they will have been working for 14 hours. And now they have to hand count stacks of ballots that are, it's not like they're neatly stacked like ream of paper. They're all going to be, they have to pull them out of the scanners, and rather than seal them up with a numbered seal that is a security seal, now they have to stack them up, count them 3 times, not just once, not twice, 3 times. If there's a single discrepancy, they have to start over again. And one of the arguments that my fellow board members made was, well, why are you sacrificing accuracy for speed? That is a policy choice that the legislature made 2-3 years ago when they passed the laws that had very strict reporting deadlines, which are now at risk of being violated. The counties are being set up for failure. But to me, one of the most troubling aspects of this whole thing is we were told by our attorneys, the state attorney general, that we don't have the legal authority to even do this, that this is untethered to statute. And yet my colleagues decided to go ahead and pass a rule that they don't have the legal authority to pass, according to the attorney general's office. That, to me, is the most troubling part of this.
I know you're rushing to get to the election board meeting. What do you expect to come out of it? And what's it like to be the only Democrat on this election board?
Sometimes it can be pretty lonely. I have to be willing to be the unwelcome voice. It's not just that I'm the only Democrat, I'm also the only attorney. And apparently the only one, aside from the chairman, who feels constrained by the rule of law. Today, we're looking at more issues that we don't have jurisdiction to be looking at. So it's not going to be a fun morning for me.
And can this count delay the national count for who is elected president of the United States?
Unfortunately, there is every chance that, because some counties will not be able to transport those memory cards with the vote totals back to their headquarters to be uploaded for the rest of the nation to see until this hand count has been completed.
Sarah Tyndall Gazelle, I want to thank you for being with us, a member of the Georgia State Election Board, the only election law attorney on that 5-person board. In 2020, Georgia was at the center of Trump's false claims of election fraud as he attempted to overturn his election loss to Biden. Trump at the time told Georgia's Raffensperger in a phone call, quote, "I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have because we won the state." Georgia's Secretary of State Raffensperger refused, but many warn Trump is now laying the groundwork for another attempt at manipulating and undermining voting results in Georgia this November. Democratic Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock said Trump supporters are, quote, "trying to set up a scenario in which they could refuse to certify an election whose results they don't like." This comes as Trump allies in Nebraska are ramping up efforts to change the state's electoral college process to grant all votes to the statewide winner. Nebraska and Maine are the only states that split their electoral votes by congressional district.